everybody. Happy Sunday. All right, so we are just wrapping up week 6 or 17, going into week 18. As of tomorrow, kind of thing, there are 6 weeks left. We're into the last 6 weeks of my very first prep. Now, everything is going really well. We are consistently upping up the intensity now as we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, trying to produce as much as we possibly can, or in this case lean out as much as we can, while still preserving as much muscle mass as possible, as I am going to go the natural route, and I'm going to stick with that for as long as I possibly can, no matter what that looks like. I really don't want to go the unnatural route, because I just don't feel, at least at this point in time, that is the healthiest or the best option for me. Now, with that all being said, jumping into a whole other note, for those of you who are maybe considering this category for yourself, or are going to be doing New Year transformation, as I said in my previous video, I really want to go out of my way to create as much content as I can, to help prepare you for what is to come, so that there's less anxiety and there's less mystery going in. And I can't stress this enough. One of the first things you really need to do is, rather than scouring the internet looking for information, because there just isn't enough of it based on this category, is as soon as you have the option to sign up for a posing clinic, go do it. Look for ones that pop up in your community or relatively close to you. I'm at a Strathmore, so the closest for me is Calgary. You make that work. Even if you only go and show up to one, and they're not going to come down on you if all you want to do is sit there and watch. For some of us, sitting and watching is 1,000 times more educational than being told something. So if you have the option, I would make the time and go to one of these clinics. Talk to the people there and learn what you need to learn. Ask the questions. I'll be honest, I just came back from my first one. I was incredibly shy. I didn't really talk to anybody, at least for the first couple of minutes. The people there, they introduced themselves. They were very friendly. I met Leo, who is part of the owners, creators, runners. Can't remember exactly how they classify themselves, but introduced himself to me, and I'm very grateful for having the opportunity to have met him. And I didn't get a chance to recall the other lady's name, but I have met some pretty cool people just by going to that. And just by going to that, it was an hour out of my day. And in that little bit of time, I was able to put visual, like really hardcore visuals, into what I'm going to be expected to do. They run through the box walk. They tell you things that you may not know. So for example, I didn't know that there is, they mentioned something about there's 2 sections to this, but there just isn't enough detailed information to explain. So you all line up and they will walk you through the entire thing. You get to practice your turns, you get to practice your poses, and they run through all the different variations. Now, with New You Transformation, there isn't one specific rhyme or reason or pose. You have the option of picking and making up your own poses. Like, it's literally that simple. You can take poses from existing categories if you want. You can literally mix it up. You can pull something from bikini, you can pull something from figure, you can pull something from the bodybuilding criteria. You can make it up. Whatever, if you're a dancer or a gymnast or whatever it is, you can pull in your own stuff for this particular category. There is no rhyme or reason to it. You just need to feel confident in what you're doing. That is the key point to this whole thing, is just being confident in what you're doing. So once you've figured out the routines or the poses you want to go with, then you start piecing it all together. So the whole point of this is to practice that. So they once they get into the walking thing, They will put cones up or tape or whatever else, and they will instruct you that for new you transformation, they will call you out. You walk actually to the front. There'll be a center cone or a center spot, and you hit whatever your favorite front side pose is, as long as you are facing the judges. You do a mental count of, let's say, 3 to 5 in your head, and then you walk to the first corner of your box walk. You walk to the right side facing the stage. You hit a side front pose, again with that same counting concept of 3 to 5 seconds in your head. You then go from the corner into the center position. You hit your front pose, hold that pose for 3 to 5 seconds. You do your transition from your front to your back pose. Hold that transition for about 3 to 5 seconds, keeping everything as smooth as possible, as confident as possible. Do the count in your head so that you know approximately where you are. It also gives you something mental to focus on, because there's going to be, if anything I've learned from this, is there's going to be people standing there, there's going to be the judges watching you, there's going to be the crowd, the audience, like there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. So if you can stay focused on some kind of mental chatter, whether it's counting or whatever else, without making it obvious, that'll help keep your mind focused and will help settle the nerves. At least that's what I've observed and picked up just from the little bit that I've spent today doing that. Then you go from your back pose, you transition out, and you walk over to the left side, your frontal side, and you pivot, always facing the judges, and you hit your last side / somewhat of a front pose. Once you're done with that, again, 3 to 5 seconds, and you walk back to the center, and this is where you have flexibility. So the objective is you have to stay on stage and be presentable and be front and center during the entire reading of your write-up, your bio, however you want to describe it. That is talking about your journey, that's talking about your story. So that is the objective. Now what that means is if your routine is too short, you have the option of flexibility to basically walk around, which means you could, in theory, do your routine more than once. Now, for some of us, that might be a little awkward. And I don't know about you, but I have absolutely no intention of doing my routine more than once. I'm going to go out, I'm going to do it, I'm going to be done. Now, if they're still reading my story by the time I'm done my routine, so be it. I then have the option of walking back to the start point in the middle of the cone where I did my first presentable pose, and I can pick a relaxed pose, doing the side hip, whatever you want to do. Pick a relaxed, focused pose and just stand there and look presentable until they're done reading your story. Then you do your hand in the air sign off, and you go back and line up to the back of the room or the back of the lineup, and you just go with the flow. So none of this has been described anywhere. And I wouldn't have learned any of this if I hadn't gone to the clinic and asked questions. And the nice thing about doing at least one, even if you can only ever do one, is it gives you the opportunity to connect with the people running the show. It gives you the chance to connect with those who are going to possibly be there. It connects you and creates familiar faces. It gets rid of the mystery. It gets rid of some of the anxiety of, I've never done this, I don't know anybody, I'm not going to fit in, where do I fit in? Because that was my biggest thing the whole time, is I don't fit in here. And that has more to do with the fact that they're doing the main categories and they're not really focusing on line. But one, I was the only one there for that category, and because it's such a jack-in-the-box mixed bag thing, it's hard to really do anything. So for me, the best thing to do was just to watch and observe, at least for this time, and then jump in toward the end and join in on the walk. Now, next time, I may not do it that way. In fact, I probably won't. I may get in there and change things up. Now, I've signed up for 2 of them, and I may do more in the future. But for sure, I'm going to go back again, because it again will help me connect with those same faces. And any other questions I come up with or have between now and then, I can ask them. And while emailing Charlotte and emailing Leo and emailing all these people is great, the thing is, there are some of us who we don't learn enough or get enough from an email. And they can only describe things so well in an email or understand what you're getting at. You know, when it comes to intent and understanding and comprehension and all those things, you can only get so much across in an email. You are better off going in person and connecting with these people. Going in at the beginning of the week, when I had first signed up for these things, I was petrified. Anxiety hit an all-time high. Coach was giving some ideas on how to do a routine, and I flat out freaked out because I don't know what I'm doing. But toward the end of the week, I ran and did a little bit of practice in my home. You know, anxiety started to ebb and go away. Going into the clinic today, I only had a small fraction of anxiety, and anything else, it wasn't so much fear and anxiety as it was just shy. It's the fish out of water. You just feel like you don't belong. But by going, you start erasing some of that. As my coach likes to say, action kills anxiety. And she is 1,000 times right. Nothing will get rid of that anxiety and get rid of that mystifying nervousness and mystery better than going in and showing up. It's actually one of the things that I teach as a trainer as well in the gym. And one of my first questions I always ask them is, when's the last time you worked out? Have you ever worked out in a gym before? Have you ever been in a gym before? Because there's a lot of people, especially for a lot of us females, who have this misconception that females hug all the cardio machines. They maybe hit some of the machine-based workout concepts with the stacked weights, but they never venture into the weightlifting side of the floor. They don't pick up a dumbbell, and some of it's the intimidation of there's mostly men. They don't know what they're doing, there's no plan, and they don't know what to do with themselves. So for those who fall in that particular category of things, I make sure that our first session, it's not a training session, it's information. That first session, we spend the entire time, and sometimes it's a little bit shorter than an hour, sometimes a little longer than an hour. I've gone as long as 2 hours with some people because this is a Q&A for them. I provide an opportunity for them to be able to ask me any question they want. We walk through every single machine, through the entire gym, showing all the different equipment available, explaining at least the bare bones is what it is. It's a lot of information all at once, and it can be overwhelming, and I do throw out that disclaimer to them as well. However, it allows them to ask questions, it allows them to get their hands on things, to pick things up, and it removes the mystery from things, so that in the end, if they decide to come in on their own, which is something that is a big thing for me. I'm a trainer where my goal for my clients is for them to be able to do things on their own. The accountability and everything else, absolutely, if it's needed, I will be there to support them. But I really want them to be able to support and be accountable to themselves at the end of the day. My biggest success for them is for them to be able to go to the gym and work out on their own and know what they're doing and have the confidence to know what they're doing. And that is my biggest goal, is to help people get moving and give them that confidence. So by providing that first initial session where all we're doing is a Q&A and being able to explore all the equipment, it gets rid of that mystery. So when I go in on their own, it's not as scary. They have a little bit of knowledge. They at least know what to look for, where the signs are on the machines. And it just gives them a standing chance to go in there and explore. It's a lot less scary. So at the end of the day, the moral to all this, again, quoting my coach, action kills anxiety. So if you were really nervous about something, find a way to do something about it. For these posing clinics, sign up for one, go and check it out. Even if you just sit there and watch, they're not going to hold that against you. Find a way to learn. It helps a lot. So I will be putting together, again, as I said in my last video, some kind of video package, something some kind of informational thing that helps with explaining a little bit more in depth and detail on the New You transformation, what you can expect, what your options are, those kinds of things. I intend to put that together after my show, after stage, after everything is done, so that it is a accessible resource for those who are going into this. Because I really feel like there just isn't enough information available out there just yet for this category, and I am going to change that. So that is my ranting ramble for now. Again, we are done week 17. We are going into week 18. We are fast approaching the 6-week mark. It's crazy to think that summer is almost over. Kids are going to go back to school here very soon. It's just absolutely insane. It won't be long after that I'll be stepping on stage for the first time. And at least right now, I feel a lot more secure. I still have some practice to do, but I feel a lot more secure walking into this now than I did an hour ago. So that's that. Intensity is definitely going up. She's cracking a bit more on my carb level and my food level, so things are starting to decrease. But it's going to be good. I am looking forward to seeing how this all plays out in the end, and what this would look like on the other side of that stage. I'm looking forward to experiencing all the feels, the fatigue, the grind. I'm enjoying it. I have moments like everybody else where my body just crashes and I want to sleep or whatever it is. But I've been giving into those feels and embracing it as much as I can, while still functioning as much as I can. So it's all about balance, as well as making up your own rules. And what I mean by that, I'll get into another video, but sometimes it's a balance between making up your own rules and following the prep rules. All right, cheers for now.